Welcome back to Fred Talk. I am your host, Freddie Valoy. Welcome to another exciting episode. I'm going to say that again because we got a hot episode. We're going to go through some responses again from my Instagram. But before we get to that, please make sure to sign up to my Patreon. Go to my Instagram account, hit the link, and sign up to my Patreon. You get 2 extra episodes of Fred Talk a month, right? It's $5 a month. You're supporting the cause. Right, we're making a business out of this funny shit nowadays. That's what we're doing. That's the goal. That's the next frontier for Freddie Valoy. So if you want to help me out in doing that, sign up to my Patreon. You get extra content for the best goddamn relationship show on the planet, baby. Right, guys. Just get real insecure about it, right, guys? It's. I mean, maybe all right. Maybe it's just top 10. Maybe it's just a top 10. Listen, you know what? Actually, I'll settle for top 100. Relationship podcast. Sign up to the Patreon. We get personal on there, talk more relationship stuff. But today, on today's free episode for you freeloading ass motherfuckers, JK, thank you for listening. We're going through the Instagram poll. A couple days ago, I asked the question, when did you know the relationship ended? And I got it from the Facebook group, Facebook account called Relationships. I think it has 2 S's at the end. I'm sure maybe somebody got relationships. So this person made an account. They had to add that extra S at the end. So shout out to them for getting extremely creative on that name. And they asked, when did you know divorce ends? So I had to broaden it out because not everybody's married, you know? Some people are smart out there. They're not just out there getting married all willy-nilly. But I wanted to open it up to other folks that were just in relationships because, you know, it's just as bad, a lot less paperwork, which is a huge plus. If you're anything like me, you hate any kind of paperwork. That's honestly my only weakness in life is like a form, turning in a form on time for something that I really need. Probably that's why I haven't done my taxes yet. Also because I have to pay taxes. So if I got a return, I would have done it in January. But when you owe taxes, you know, you make them wait a little bit. And you're not even sticking it to them because there's a fee and all that, but we move on, right? We live and we grow. A lot less paperwork. That's what'll keep people in for a lot longer than just, you know, breaking up a regular relationship. There's also like splitting of assets and things like that. From what I hear, I've never been married, so, but maybe one day, right? Maybe I'll get married one day. Who knows? And then we get to have a bachelor party, bachelorette party. We get to do the whole thing. And then eventually we get divorced, right? And we have a divorce party. We should celebrate every step of the process. So on my Instagram, I asked, when did you know the relationship ended, right? When did you know this is it? It's done. We got a bunch of good answers here. So let's get started. The first response for when did you know the relationship ended is, when she got her body done. Now, I know the context of this one, too. This dude was living with his girl, paying all the bills. They were living at their parents' house. It was a very New York situation, Hispanic situation, where you live with the mom. You don't really leave until you get married. Sometimes you don't even leave. You get married, and mom's just in the house walking around and shit, doing what she does. And she got her body done. They didn't have to pay any bills, so she saved up money, not having to pay rent, and got her body done. This dude never cheated and everything like that. Because I know a lot of times people will be like, well, maybe he was a piece of shit. I know this dude, and I'll tell you for a fact, he wasn't a cheater. Maybe he was like lazy, right? Maybe that was a thing. Maybe he wasn't like ambitious. They didn't follow through on his word. I don't think it deserved that, but she was pretty much using his house as a safe haven so she can get that BBL. Real fucked up. They dated for about 5 years. I know the context on this one. That's when he knew. That's when the red flags went up for him, was when she got her body done. I mean, I don't think that necessarily means that every person that gets their body done when they're in a long-term relationship, five years counts as long-term, right? I think once we get past when we get in the 4-year territory, 3-year maybe even, we're looking at long-term. But there had to be more going on than just the body done. But I think that might have been like the big red flag on top of other things going on. Maybe she felt emotionally disconnected, which I think was the truth for them. And this was the thing where it brought up the red flags. So If any of your partners are getting any major invasive surgery done during your relationship, I'd ask a few questions, right? There's surgery now where men are getting taller. I think the recovery period's 8 months. If your man's out there and he's like, I'm trying to get 2 inches and I'm gonna have him stretch my knees out so I can be taller, I would just ask a few questions. Really pay attention to the relationship. Are they getting the work done just for themselves because they feel self-conscious? Or are they getting the work done because they're trying to have a what is it? A hot ho summer? No, it's not hot ho summer. Hot ho summer is a positive one. Hot ho summer means you're living in alignment with yourself. You're following your morals. You're being a good person, and you're just out there. You're being ethical about the whole situation. Hot girl summer. Hot girl summer. See that you would confuse those two, but that's how life is sometimes, right? It's like Greenland and Iceland. That's what this is right here. Hot ho summer is good. Everyone wants to get to hot ho summer. That's when you're comfortable with yourself, right? You ain't cheating on anybody. You're telling the truth. That's what a hot hoe is. We're changing the narrative, right? Hot girl summer started a few years ago, and that's when you hone it up. You're living a deceitful life, and you're saving money and getting BBLs and breaking up with your boyfriend after the recovery period. He helped her recover, and she broke up with him. So that's when he knew that the relationship was over. Next response for when did you know the relationship was over? When I felt the need to entertain someone else, had to let go, I don't cheat. This was from a woman. Entertain. So that means emotionally. Like maybe she was getting hit on and she was playing into it a little bit. And there is emotional infidelity. That shit is real as hell. Just because you don't physically make contact with someone, if you are engaging and falling into the flirtatious stuff a little bit more than you should, the way I like to think about it is like, if your partner was doing the same thing you were doing in that moment, how would you feel? That always answers the question. Always answers the question. So good for her for at some point realizing, all right, this ain't it. I got to go. But I would definitely say if there was some emotional infidelity going on here, but good for you on pulling the ripcord on time. When you feel the need to entertain someone else, there's a few other responses like this from the ladies too, where they feel like if they catch eyes for someone else or anything like that, which I guess is a thing for women, right? Because it's more emotional type cheating. Men is a little bit more physical. Obviously not for everybody. Everyone's different. We're all fucking snowflakes or whatever you want to call it. But in this one, shout out to this lady for getting out before the physical stuff happened. I want to know, how long was this? This entertain is a very weird word, and I'm going to play it on the side of there was some emotional cheating going on. So you may not physically cheat, but I bet you there was some emotional infidelity here. She was feeling swooned. She was feeling swooned by the flirting or anything like that. This might have been a work husband or something like that. Want to know how long that was? If you're listening to this episode and you answered that response, how long was this going on? How long were you entertaining? What does that mean? Were you dancing for him? That's not cool. What kind of entertainment was going on? It sounds like some emotional entertainment. That's cheating. 100% that's cheating. Especially for women. Actually, no, if a dude emotionally cheats too, it's probably even worse because they don't normally do that. God damn it, look at that. Emotional cheating. There's another one in here later on, financial infidelity. We're going to get to that. But good for her, I guess, for getting out before the physical stuff went down. Shoot, this is a long story. After years and years of craziness, all right, so I got to go to the story on this one. After years and years of craziness, several breakups, the final breakup was when I knew I was for sure done, was when we went out one night for his friend's birthday party, and he saw this girl that we all knew was part of the group for their party. I saw them make eye contact and then looked away, pretending not to see each other. So her man and a girl made eye contact with each other, and then they acted like they didn't recognize each other. And she noticed that. She thought that was weird. Very strange, as they have been friends for years. So she felt the weirdness, right? She watched the whole thing, she says. I asked what was that about, and he pretended to not know what I was talking about. There had been some sketchy things, in parentheses, there has been some sketchy things in the past few years about this girl and him to begin with. out of the parentheses now. I said I was going to Uber home. He insisted to drive me and insisted that nothing was going on. After refusing to believe him, he finally admitted that they kissed once. I said, we're done. And once we got back home, I started to pack my things. He then says that he lied about the kiss. Nothing happened between them. And I was like, what the fuck? Why would you lie about that? He responded saying, I lied about something small. That way you could kind of let it go and not have to worry about it. And I think I've done this one in my cheating days too. Where you like, I'm going to admit to something small just to get it off my back, but there's something big that went on. Later on, this girl talks to the girl that had the weirdness went on, and they find out that they did just kiss. My money's that probably something more happened, but they kissed. And that's when this gal broke up with homeboy. Now, I posted this one to my story, and a lot of people, I think, misinterpreted this one. Yeah, a lot of people were like, what? She broke up with him just for a kiss? Which I think is valid at the end of the day. But I'm like, no. I don't think it was the kiss. I think it was the fucking weirdness. Also, remember, this is years and years of craziness, multiple breakups, stuff like that. So there was probably other lies that have been going on. She couldn't trust this dude. Then he did the teenager, oh, I only kissed. They probably did more, if I had to guess. Nobody's getting that weird over just a kiss. Come on. A kiss you can play off. Right? Nobody's getting that weird over a kiss. So I think a lot more went on here. Some people misinterpreted it on my Instagram. They were like, I can't believe she left over a kiss. There's more to the story. There's always more to the story. But from the information that we got here, I think she did the right thing. I think she broke up with him for the lies. Also being a bad liar too. How gross is that when someone's not even a good liar about it, you know? You're like, dude, you don't even have the balls to lie to me properly. And you're going to lie about a kiss? Come on. But that was good. I'm with her 100% on this one. You fucking leave him. It just sounds like the whole situation was weird. Watching that eye contact and weirdness, I've been in that one before. I'm like, what? Something happened with them. There's no way. So shout out to homegirl for breaking up with him. The next response for, when did you know the relationship was over? This girl says, same way you know when you know. I don't like that saying. I don't like you know when you know. But I'm going through something similar myself right now. I'll explain more later. But she said the same way you know when you know someone is right for you, you know when you know they aren't. And that's like all of a sudden, I guess. So she just had that feeling. I want to know what caused this feeling. That's the thing. I feel like women more than men can all of a sudden get cold. And then shit just goes like she just ain't into you and you'll feel it. You will feel the coldness and it hurts as a man. But I feel like typically women go cold faster than men, like just out of nowhere. And I'm sure there's an amalgam of a bunch of things that must have happened and all that. But and it's because of that I'm kind of myself personally. I'm always ready for any woman that I'm engaging with to all of a sudden just get weird and just not be into me. Maybe that's a trauma response. Maybe I'm not, fully healed. Are we ever fully healed? But maybe that's just something with me that I need to work on. But I also feel like it's a defense mechanism because it's happened before. And you know what they say? Well, nobody says this, but it takes is one other dude that's better than you that, you click in. I don't know. She can get swept away or something. If a girl goes cold, it's probably though because you've been doing some shit. Not saying it's right. Not saying it's right. There should be communication. You should be trying to fix it. But yeah, me personally as a guy, I'm just always ready for someone to be like, fuck you, I'm out of here. Call it what you want. I don't know if that's healthy or not. What do you think? Do you think it's healthy, listener? That right there, or am I protecting myself from potentially inevitable disappointment? I don't know. I'm not, see, that doesn't ruin the actual relation. To me, that helps me cherish what's actually going on. It helps me enjoy that at any time this shit can go. It's like life. That's how I handle life. I know that I could die right now. How fucking sick would it be if I just died right now on the podcast? Oh, but then nobody would edit it and get it out. Damn it. What if I died right after all right, let's just say this podcast is released and I'm already dead. That'd be kind of tight, right? That'd be like, oh shit, he kind of called it, right? right? Like, I be predicting shit sometimes. And if I predict this, if I'm dead by the time this podcast is out, y'all, don't cry for me. Argentina, you feel me? All right. When you know, you know. It's a cold world out there, y'all. Let's see. Here we go. When did you know the relationship was over? The financial infidelity was the nail in the coffin for me and us. There's different types of infidelity, sexual, financials up there. Financials second to, I would say, no, I would say sexual, emotional, financial. Financial you can work through. I feel like there's like steps that are taken, but I feel like once you share your soul with somebody else, it's a little hard, not impossible. It's a little hard to work through that. Definitely not impossible. Financial infidelity. Those are the high end of infidelity, right? Financial, emotional, physical, like sexual. On the low end of infidelity would be TV show infidelity. Like if you're watching a TV show with your significant other and you guys are into it, and then one of them has to go on a business trip or they're on a bachelorette party and you decide to take that weekend to finish the series while your significant other is gone, that's fucked up. You don't do that. You're asking for trouble there. If I wasn't in therapy with my significant other, and everything was good, and then she did that to me, I would immediately, the very next week, we're going to therapy. Something's up. We need to work through some issues. It's not as serious, but it's definitely the start of something. How do you lose respect for me and not finish? We started watching Billions together. Why can't we finish Billions together? Huh? What are you doing? Who were you watching Billions with? Why were you in such a rush to get through this TV show? I thought this was an us thing, right? Financial infidelity is a big one. And I think is finances the number one reason people still divorce? I want to know. Is that still a thing? Because that was the word on the streets a long time ago. I feel like the number one people get divorced is because y'all being some bitch ass niggas and don't want to listen to each other and connect. And I think the number one reason is because people don't want to go to therapy, counseling. That's a weird one too. I've heard a few people, they go through some really big issues, some type of infidelity, emotional, financial, whatever. And then one of the partners is like, let's go get some counseling. Let's go get some help. And the other person's like, nope, I ain't doing that. To me, that is a fucking line in the sand. If you don't want to get professional help after this thing, after we've tried to figure it out, and now you don't want to get professional help, like we're done. This is the beginning of the end, and you don't even want to put effort in because it's too hard. I don't want to talk about my feelings, bro. Do the therapy. What's really confusing is I've met a good amount of people who are into self-help, who are into, growth and all this, but they don't go to therapy. And it's not even that they're not in therapy. I don't care if you're not in there. It's the people that are like, I don't believe in therapy. I've heard that from people who claim to be into self-help, and I'm calling bullshit on their self-help claim, their professional growth. I know people that are like, I'm not going to therapy, but I'll go to a spiritual counselor. That's another weird one. That seems like when you are a procrastinator and you don't do the thing that's number one priority, you do the thing that's like priority number 3 or 4, where you're still getting something done, but it's still not the most important thing you need to get done. I know someone who, instead of going to therapy, they hired their friend who was a life coach who just started out life coaching. So she was just talking shit with her friend. That's like going to the gym and you're lifting and you can do all 10 reps super easy. Like, yeah, you're at the gym, but you're not pushing yourself. You're not pushing yourself slightly past your comfort zone, which is what it takes to grow in literally anything. So that one was financial infidelity. All right, this one said she knew the relationship was over when he would repeat everything she said back to her like it was his idea. That was a weird one. Would repeat everything she said back to him like it was his idea. As a person that gets that, I guess if that happened to me all the time, I'd probably be pretty fucking annoyed because I don't like when people take my ideas. I think I mentioned the last episode. If you want to get under my skin, if you want to fuck with me, take an idea of mine and then be like, oh, that, or and then be like, oh, I made that up, because I'd be like, no, that was, I made that up. Like I would, that would get a, that after, that'd be pretty grating for me. All right, we're gonna skip that one because there's definitely more to that, and I know this lady hates men, so she's a hurt woman. So you know what I'm saying. You got to take those with a grain of salt. The next one of when did you know the relationship ended? It was finished. She says, number one, he relapsed and lied about it. There's lies. Number two, caught him on the apps again. Yeah. Yeah. Relapsed and lied about it, right? The relapse is forgivable, but the lie, that's where it hits. Because if you're with an addict, you know potentially a relapse is going to happen. But with a lot of addicts are fucking liars, bro. So you got to make sure you get the most honest one that you can get. I known people that have been in relationship with addicts, and it's work, man. It's work, especially if they're constantly relapsing. You're kind of like always on high alert. You don't want to leave them alone. It's a whole thing. And then caught them on the apps again. I mean, come on. That's, if the first one didn't do it, I think those two combined, definitely a valid reason to be like, this is freaking over. This is over. Side note, I remember when the apps first came out, and I had there was in my life, anecdotal, right? 3 people, guys who got caught on the dating apps, and they were dating someone. They had a significant other, and all of their excuses were they were on the apps as like a joke. They were on the dating apps as a joke. I mean, come on, bro. That's the word. Like, once again, like, you should get broken up for being such a bad liar. Like you're not even clever. So now you're a cheater and you're a fucking idiot. That you deserve to get broken up with. I was on there as a joke. Come on, bro. Okay, this lady says she knew it was over the second she got pregnant. I didn't ask for elaboration on this, and I should have, because I don't even know where to begin with this one. When she got pregnant, I'm this is all conjecture moving forward. I'm assuming that when she had the kid, maybe she had like some clarity on some, like, all right, this motherfucker probably isn't going to be a good dad or something. Oh, maybe she got pregnant and she told him, and his response was all fucked up. Right? Maybe his response wasn't that of someone that you're going to want to start a future with. Let's go with that one. Let's go. That one makes a little more sense. We're making shit up here, right? But that's a possible scenario, right? You can play hypotheticals in your head and still work. It's, you ever heard of a thought experiment? Huh? That's what we just did right there. Good for you. Good for walking us down there. This girl says, when I realized the relationship was holding me back from reaching my full potential, that one's good. You just feel like dead weight for too long. The other person's growing. Maybe the other person gets insecure, and you try to talk them through it. And this is a lady with a man. So this is even more so. If your woman's growing and you getting insecure about it, I think it's worse. It's worse. It's worse that way than flipped around. We're aware that there's double standards with men and women. Some people complain about it. I think it's just the cards that were dealt. But if you're a dude getting insecure about your woman getting her fucking doing her thing and growing, that's disgusting, right? If it's the other way around, I feel like the guy can like lead and like help, be like, no, babe, let me show you. This is why I'm doing this for us. This is for our family. I had a girl like that. I was like, oh, I'm going to learn French. She's like, who the fuck you learning French for? Which is funny when you think of it. She's like, I don't fucking speak French. What bitch you trying to learn French for? Which is funny when you think about it. But I was just like, I just like learning languages, dog. Like, the fuck? Well, who you learning Italian for? I used to be like kind of conversational in French and Italian, and I'm no longer. But I just like learning languages. That shit is fire. When you just roll up on somebody like, como esta, ragazza, you know what I'm saying? And you just bang, bang, bang. You can connect with more people the more languages you speak, and the defenses immediately go down. Especially if you're an American that speaks multiple languages, bro, and you're traveling overseas, you immediately just don't even come off like a normal American, which is my favorite compliment. to get when I'm traveling. Yeah, you don't seem like the typical American, which is like you're a cool guy, you're not a fucking asshole. And now are they being prejudiced? Absolutely. Are they stereotyping? Absolutely. Are Americans assholes? Absolutely, baby. That's what makes us us, baby. Huh? You think a bald eagle cares about being nice? You think a grizzly bear cares about being nice, bro? That's what this country's about. This country, bro. It's Cinco de Mayo. Don't even fault me for that accent, okay? Don't fault me for that. That was just the mother Cinco de Mayo starting to come out. Ricky tiki, ricky tiki. Uh, um, yeah, we're fucking assholes. Good, not good, but you know what I'm saying, yo. Financial. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, here we go. When I realized his lack of passion and substance was hindering my thirst for life. Yo, I'm a zest for life type. And if you're with a wet blanket, bro, it's not good. It's not good. Yeah. You don't want somebody hindering your thirst for life. If you're an accountant that just wants to be an accountant, go find another accountant. But if you're a zest for life person, you have to at least find a person that uh inspires you to like perpetuate that zest for lifeness, because you need to be out there experiencing the world, talking to people. And if you're with someone that's wet blanket or a wet pair, imagine wearing like a wet pair of jeans or a wet shirt around all day. It's just fucking like, ugh, it's uncomfortable, right? Zest for life types, you might want to find yourself a zest for life type, or someone, even if they're not zest for life, they're entertained by watching you being zest for life. They're using you as a vehicle so that they can get the zestiness on their own. That's what you need. And also, I don't want you to confuse that for somebody that tolerates zest for life stuff. No. No. You got to find someone that's entertained. They find joy in your pursuit of zest for life, and then they kind of reap the benefits from that as well. I like that one. I like. Let's see. Ooh, this guy knew the relationship was over when she tried to have sex with my brother. That's the most cut and dry response we've gotten here so far. If your significant other tries to have sex with your brother, I would definitely end that. We'll take it one step further. If you have a sibling, if you have a brother, you need to make this pact. Listen, if my significant other ever tries to sleep with you, somehow, some way, she gets past the defenses and she's a little hoe bag and she tries to sleep with my brother, I would have the brother sleep with her and then tell you about it and then break up with her. That way your brother could get some too, and then she can pack a little hoe bags and head on her way. Next one. For me, it's always, all right, this girl says she knows it's over. For me, it's always a gut feeling first and then a battle between my heart and my mind. But when I know, I know. This is like the first one. When you know, you know. I think this is more so how it works, right? It's like, is this it? And I think this all boils down to like when they move through life, are you kind of like, yay, or are you kind of like, ugh, what the fuck are you doing? Like if the ratio to that is off and you're doing more, oh, what the hell's going on? That I think that's when you know it's over, and that's going on for a period of time. That's when you know it's over. Okay, this is from a guy. He says, "When I don't want the coochie anymore, we're toast." Another for a dude. This is if you're. I mean, most guys would fuck anything, right? So if a guy doesn't want to have sex with you anymore, that's a big sign, right? If he don't want to have sex with you anymore, and he wants to have sex with you, this is like the lady saying when other guys caught her eye or whatever, right? This is the same kind of. I think that's in the same ballpark. You start looking at other, like, God, I just want to get in that. I just want to. You start looking at other women and past the point of, because it's one thing to appreciate another woman's beauty when you have someone that's, yeah, oh shit, she's hot, but just like kind of in passing. But if you're like, oh God, the things I would do, I'd bend her over a baba, I'd bend her over a barrel to see all 50 states. You know that's a pretty big one, especially for a guy. Guys are very simple. It's like when if a woman stops having sex with me, if the shit goes way down, um, yeah, yeah. If it goes, yeah. If you stop having, if there's no sexual attraction, what are we doing here? Come on. Especially if you were giving me sex and all of a sudden it's done. I'm like, what? We need to have a conversation. We can work through this. Let's do it. Because if we bounce back from that, then it's in there forever. But you know what it is. If you're done with me, just tell me you're done with me. And stopping the sex based off of me, you don't want to fuck me because you don't like something I'm doing. Let's just go our separate ways. Let's see. When the sex and the emotional connection goes away. All right, this is good. Two back to back that we're going through. When the sex and emotional connection goes away. The sex going away is one thing, right? Because the sex can go away and the emotional connection can be there. Maybe she's stressed out. That's another thing. If a woman stops having sex with you, there could be more. Ask questions. What is she going through in her life? Right? Or is there stress? Are there external factors going on? Job, family that are stressing her out, that are causing her libido to go down. Right? Because especially in a healed person or an adult, it's a lot harder to maybe get turned on with sex. Young people, maybe you can distract more with sex. So stress might cause people to sleep around more. But if the sex and emotional connection goes away, what are we doing? But if it's just the sex and there's still an emotional connection, that's a tough time too for the broad, because she is probably feeling guilty for her libido not being high because she wants to please her man. So fellas, before you jump to the sex is done, but maybe you can still feel the emotional connection, stay in there and work with it. Because if you help her get through that, bro, when you get out when you get past the finish line, the sports analogies with this shit, it'll be, I think the sex will be better than ever, because now you've gone through some real shit. You've battled God and you've won. You've fought demons, however you want, whatever analogy you want to use. You overcame something very, very difficult together. And if you can be the person to help lead her through that or support her, be her rock on the way, bro, she'll be giving you roadhead while she's driving. You know what I'm saying, bro? That's the kind of ride or die chick you're gonna have. And if you do something sexual act like that, you're probably gonna die. But guess what, y'all? You're gonna die together. And isn't that what we want? We all just want to die together with our partner in bed, like Noah and Allie from The Notebook. I like The Notebook. I got to rewatch that one. I remember liking it a lot. The one I didn't like was Sweet Home Alabama, because Melanie Snooter was talking wild shit about her ex-husband. She changed her name. She was from the South and wanted to be a fancy New Yorker. A huge red flag. Bro, I should do an episode on how she's toxic. She's toxic as fuck. Left her family, changed her name, was ashamed of her upbringing, blah, 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 right? Talking shit about her ex-husband because he wouldn't sign the divorce papers because she was going to get married to that stiff from that Wasp family, that like high-end New York family. And then all of a sudden, her mind changes when she realizes that the glass sculptures that she loves was made by her ex-husband. It all of a sudden snapped after that. There was a huge gap in that movie for me, and I don't understand why. If anybody listening to this is pro Sweet Home Alabama, please explain that part. Please close the gap there for me, because I don't want to hate Melanie Snooter. I don't want to hate Sweet Home Alabama. If you listen to this show, you would know that your boy's a big fan of rom-coms. Big fan of rom-coms. Super predictable, right? There's something about it. They're not a guilty pleasure, because I'm not guilty about it. But I love rom-coms, and I want to like that movie. But that pisses me off about that movie and that character. Okay, this dude knew it was over when she told me it was over. So he found out, he got the memo day of. They said, pack your shit and get out of here. They had HR walk him to his desk as he's putting stuff in boxes. No heads up, no communication about it, is what he says. Some people are really good at hiding their emotions. I challenge this responder. In the next relationship to, I don't know this dude. I know this dude. He's a fucking the best man. One of the best men. One of the best. Sweetheart. Like warms my fucking heart. There's you can't say you didn't see it coming. There has to be. I would pay more attention. I don't know. I'm not victim blaming here, but just you got to see it coming, especially with women. When they go cold, you feel it. Something must have changed. something must have changed. If you're listening to this, give me a call because I would love to talk to you about this and just pick your brain and all that. Just, at least to help, if anyway, I think the conversation might help for the next gal so you don't get caught like this because it sucks getting roundhouse kicked with the breakup when you didn't even see it coming. When you didn't even see it coming. But some people are good at hiding their emotions. Sometimes it just is what it is, man. Maybe you were connected, you didn't see it, and that's okay, right? This is what we call this is where we fall into the column of charge it to the game, right? Some things they're just unavoidable. Some tragedies are unavoidable. You just got to charge it to the game of life. Okay, this next responder says, when she asked to be polyamorous. So he was in a relationship. Oh, no. Oh, my bad. No. At the beginning. Hold on. Which admittedly was at the beginning. Okay. And he was down bad. So he was horny. And he just wanted some affection. He wanted a little love. We got a self-aware king over here. Hold on. Because he sends me these boxes on Instagram are too small. So people have to send me in the DM. So she asked to be poly at the beginning. Continuing here. In all fairness, though, we dated for nearly 2 years and didn't see other people. Well, was just poly in theory. Never making that mistake again, he says. At least, I assume we didn't. Part of the arrangement was telling each other if we were interested in someone else. What y'all think? What do you listeners think? You think she was in those 2 years where nothing was said to it happen? You think so? You think she went out? Because she started off by saying, let's be poly. But in 2 years, he says nothing happened. But what he just said there was in parentheses. So I think he knows that there's a possible chance that she could have done something, but maybe didn't say anything, which is a huge mistake in polyamory. Literally, you got the keys to do what you want. You're supposed to tell someone if you're into someone else and you still can't follow that. She did you a favor, buddy. Not invalidating the hurts of it all. But it seems like you were self-aware in this situation and realizing what it is. He says, but I knew going in that I was compromising my values for coochie. Never do that. Never compromise your values for coochie or dick. Horny you and regular you are two different people. This is a tale as old as time. Horny you making decisions. Horny you's it's like you're driving with a friend and your friend's drunk and your friend's like, let me drive. And you're like, okay, that's what this situation is right here. But I knew going in that I was compromising my values for coochie. Never do it. Repeat it again. But justified it as you're supposed to make sacrifices for people you love. I mean, I don't know if one of those sacrifices is letting them fuck other people. Possibly. It's not impossible. Open marriages and open relationships, they're some of the more happier ones that I know. But it's just like, it's all about intent. Why are you doing the open thing? What's the point of it? If the intent is some weird shit, you're going to get some weird shit at the end. But if the intent is pure going in, I think you can have fun and have it be super honest. Because there's a lot of these relationships that are quote unquote monogamous and it ain't fucking monogamous. I've been on enough bachelor parties to know the motherfuckers you got to watch are the married men. The married men that don't get to go out normally are the worst. Married men that have a healthy relationship where they can go see friends a couple times a month, go hang out with their buddies, grab a beer. That's different. I'm talking about married men that are on lockdown. When they go on like their quarterly sales meetings, when they go bachelor parties, those are the guys you got to watch the most. That's where you see a lot of ring finger tan lines. I've seen this enough to know it's a pattern, and I noticed it before I was even a stand-up. I was like, yo, this is some weird ass shit. Married men that don't get to go out. So if you're listening to this and you don't let your husband go out, he's making it up on the back end somehow. Even if he doesn't end up succeeding and getting laid, he's trying. So now you got a guy that can't even go out and get pussy on his own. So now you got a guy that's getting rejected. That's a double hurt. You ain't even got a Rico Suave on your hand. Let's see. How did you know the relationship was over? This lady says, for me, within the first 2 years of marriage, I stayed for the children. So she knew within the first 2 years, but she stayed for the children. Now I'm going to say this is one of my older followers, this is my golden girl follower over here. She's um engages with my content all the time. I love her so much. She's great, super supportive. She grew up in a time where that was, you can only do so much in the time frame that you were born. It's like an Iron Man when Tony Stark plays the video of his father, and his father's like trying to fucking create a new element essentially, and he writes this video. He's like, I can't do it because I can only do as much as this time period would allow me. That's how much of a genius he was. He was like, I was born at the wrong time for me to achieve this goal. Tony Stark, I'm going to need you to do this for me. And then Tony Stark ends up creating a whole new element, which saves his life. That's in Iron Man 2. So I sympathize with this gal over here, with my golden girl. She first 2 years stayed for the children, bro. I think this was like in the 70s or some shit for her. Like, women weren't allowed to have credit cards until 1974. You can only do so much. People want to know why the divorce rates are going up, and I feel like that's a big thing. It's like women have more options now. They can go and get house loans on their own. They can go do things. This is another charge it to the game situation. But she stayed together for the kids, and I think during that time period, very noble pursuit. Today, not so much. Today, not so much. I've talked to people who've gotten divorced. I swear to God, dude, from my like 28, 25 through now, I get into these conversations with people, and I was like, what do the kids think? And most of the time, people that have gotten divorced and they have like teenage kids, like kids in high school and stuff, but the answer is mostly they've been wanting us to get divorced. They were like, almost like, not saying it's not hard on the kids, but they were just tired of living in a fucking weird ass household. Yeah. Almost like the kids were wanting them to get divorced because the energy in the house sucks so much. So I think in today's day and age, staying for the kids is not a valid response. I think those people are just staying for their own fear, right? They're scared to venture out on their own. Who isn't? Right. So I'm not holding that against them. I think that's more so the honest response. I didn't want to get divorced because I was scared to be out there on my own. And this is a prime example of honesty's undefeated. If that's the actual thing, like, instead of saying staying together for the kids, instead of I'm afraid, if you just tell someone I'm afraid and I don't want to be alone, I don't think you'll get nobody's gonna be like, you fucking idiot. No, they'll be like, oh damn. Because we've all been afraid before. We've all been afraid to move on. We've stayed in relationships longer than we should have. So I think there'll be a ton of empathy there. This is why I say honesty is undefeated. All right. I answer these on Instagram, but I'm going to go through a couple of these just because they're good. And I'm doing it towards the end here. This is one of the longer episodes too. This girl says, when I felt embarrassed for being extra at a show I was so excited about. I want to cry for this one. Anybody who makes someone feel stupid for liking something, like if they're mid nerd out, and you want to suck the air out of the room because you feel uncomfortable that somebody's excited, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're the worst person. You're in the tier with Nazis and skinheads and Adolf Hitler. You fucking asshole. There's only a handful of things we can be excited about in life. Life is hard, bro. So if somebody can find the excitement in little things and you're going to take that away from them, bro, you're in hell. You're going to go to hell. Yeah, if I was God, you would go to hell. You'd be having dinner with Hitler, which would be an interesting dinner. Not that I would do it, but I definitely would ask some questions. All right, next one. When she joined QAnon. All right, so QAnon was peaked during the pandemic. This is the conspiracy theory shit. And like most conspiracy theories, there was some truth in there, but it got way out of hand. They were saying that Donald Trump was fighting an underground pedophile ring or something like that, blah, blah, blah. But this is a prime example of, during the pandemic, people got some of the truth of like the higher class doing certain things, potentially, blah, blah, blah. The more people got into finding the real conspiracies like MK Ultra and stuff like that. And people latched onto QAnon and their fucking brains melted. They couldn't handle a little bit of truth and their brains melted. And the crazy thing about it is, when they're deep into this conspiracy stuff, there's nothing you can tell them. They'll look at you like you're the fucking idiot. And I'm talking about for the conspiracies that are just wrong, not the ones that like MK Ultra, things like that, that are correct. Government setting things up, shooting down commercial airliners to cause false flags. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about shit like this. On the other end, like watching your significant other get brainwashed by like TikTok, a TikTok account, something like that, something that's some biased ass TikTok account, and they're just empty inside, so they gotta latch onto something. I feel like a lot of conspiracy people are just people that want to feel cool, and this is a very easy way to do it. Like, hey, I know something you don't know. If you listen to some of the earlier Fred talks, like I think episodes like 50, 30, around 50 or 30 or something like that, wherever during the pandemic, there's even a live stream that I posted. I touch on some stuff like that. This is before we niched into a relationship podcast. So let's see. It's not a definitive moment in time, and this I'll end on this one. It's not a definitive moment in time for me as a man. It's a compilation of not being heard. And this one's, I think, relative to everyone, you know? Don't we all just want to be heard? Right? We all just want to be heard. I don't like heard. I like, because there's a difference between hearing and listening. I think hearing, you can hear anything, but to listen, I think it takes actively paying attention. So I want to, I'm not going to swap this dude's thing out, but we want to be heard. I think we want to be understood. I think there's a fear that being misunderstood, I think is a fear. And when your partner, the person that's supposed to be closest to you, when you get to that point where you don't feel like they're understanding you, it hurts. It hurts a lot, right? You feel like you're being rejected from the one person that you've opened your life to. And it hurts. So if you've ever felt like that, just think about that when you're in an argument with your significant other and it's heated. Like, what am I not listening to right now? What am I not understanding? Where's the disconnect here? Put yourself in their shoes and be the person. If you claim you're as smart or as awesome as you think you are, it is your responsibility to be the person to like right size the ship and put yourself in that person's shoes. And that's going to be it for us. I told you I was going to be an exciting episode. We went long too. I think we might have done like 45 minutes, something like that. Definitely past the 40-minute mark. And I like that. That shit was easy. Time flew by. And that's the number one sign of having fun, right? It wasn't there saying time flies when you're having fun. Bye.